Is it possible to survive 100 days in Palworld and enslave all the Syndicate Tower bosses? Yes, and no one can stop me, so sit back and watch. On day 71, I came back to end the legend of Anubis once and for all. And this time, I knew how to keep my pal safe before his big attacks. But this created another problem. Now he was attacking me instead. And I can't fight Anubis myself, like come on. So I decided to run and just kept running away. No matter what I did, his eyes were glazed on me. But finally, Fangloop got his attention. Oh, never mind. And he was taunting me with them hand gestures, bruh. Fangloop literally pushed him away and threw the biggest water ball, but it didn't even faze him. Your girlfriend's boyfriend popped out of nowhere and attacked me. What the heck, man? Where's the loyalty? Yo, how the flip is he dodging my bullets? Psych, you thought you could just kick my pal? Huh? Oh jeez, I dodged the biggest fireball. Yo, Fangloop is getting good at this. Okay, that's enough. Now it was time to end this. Me and Fangloop teamed up and finally captured the most powerful pal in the game. Now I remember why I captured Anubis in the first place. It's because I wanted the fastest flying pal, Jetrion, but I wasn't strong enough to capture it. So on day 72, I crossbred the Batman looking bird with Anubis. Now why would I do that? I hear you cry. Well, I thought if the strongest pal had a baby with the Batman looking bird, I might get the fastest flying pal. Bruh, this is one chunky ass looking bird. But don't let the bounce fool you, he's fast as fuck, boy. On day 73, I came across the Guardian of the Water, Germantide. He had these telepathic electric shocks that was burning my ass hair. He was floating on water and I didn't think that he would come to the dry land, and he did. The queen bee tried to take a hold of him, but he threw the biggest water ball at me and I nearly drowned. We were standing on business until he took us out with his fire breath. Bruh, I didn't knew water pals could shoot fire, but the battle of the water bending snake and the stinging bee concluded with my queen bee getting injured. And the stubborn ass looking snake wouldn't just stay inside my Pokeball. I had to try 4 times and I nearly got electrocuted on my last try, but I was able to capture him. Jeez, I need a vacation after this. The same evening, I built big beds for the big boys in the base because they couldn't fit in these tiny beds. The next day, I put Relaxoris on timeout because he was being lazy. And I also made a few changes in the factory to accommodate them big boys. I gave them more food and bigger space to hang out and sleep. Winter was coming soon, so I also built this big electric heater to keep everyone warm. And I put your creepy uncle in the breeding farm to breed with this water snake. And let's see what kind of monstrosity they will produce. On day 75, I was flying over your mother's tears when I came across the land of Transformers. And I found this elegant looking water pal and took one for myself. I also found your girlfriend but in gold. I could make a lot of money selling this. Anyways, I was expecting to find more unique pals or at least a boss battle, but all I found was your mother's bones. On day 76, I was still flying over your mother's tears when I saw these gunhos harassing them ratchet bunnies. So I took out everyone because I don't like them. This was my furthest journey ever. I crossed over the canyons, rivers, jungles, this beautiful lake, and these mountains. The next day, I came across the fat cat in the family who ran away last summer because you put him on diet. He was living life with all his mistresses, but my pal decided to burn everyone. I mean, he's new to all this, so cut him some slack, would ya? And by evening, I finally reached the shores of Mount Obsidian, one of the hottest places in Palworld. There was something unhinged about this place, like these walking goats on 2 feet, and your sisters were sunbathing in the evening. Like, what's going on? The next day, I came down to get something from the village for my journey, and this big chunkish bird decided to fight the Batman looking birds, and he burned them all. What in the... Are you crazy? I knew that these crossbred pals were losing the head, but this is just insane. I also came across these glowing lions at night and captured one for myself. On day 79, I was still exploring Mount Obsidian when I came across these gunhos with flamethrowers. They tried but failed. What the fuck is this abomination? A tiny lizard looking dinosaur? I traveled from Mount Obsidian all the way to the volcano valley. There were lava lakes everywhere and And oh look, it's your mother's bones. I also saw Jetrion in person for the first time, but I wasn't even close to challenging him to a fight. The next day, I came across another Transformers island and found the protector of Leaf. He was very weak. I also tried to pick a fight with a goat on 2 legs, and let's just say he was a formidable opponent, but I captured him. And for the rest of the day, I was flying over your mother's tears to get to the big tree in the island, but the game wouldn't let me cross the invisible wall, so I turned back. The next day, I finally came across the land of snorting white powder. I noticed these detective ice hats looking at me everywhere I went, and oh my god, I found your mother again, Frozen edition, but she was sleeping. No matter what I did, she won't budge, so I just left her alone. On day 82, I left the land of snorting white powder and traveled to the crusty desert of your mother's ashes. As soon as I touched ground, everything was trying to kill me, and they were all level 50 and above. What have they been eating to get this juiced up? This might be the birthplace of Anubis, you know? I had no business being there, so I left as soon as I could. On the way, I came across your drowned mother's skeletons. Rest in peace, big mother. I also saw your gym bro getting kidnapped by these cultists, so I set him free. And after a long journey, I finally came back to my base. Everything was looking good. I even made these 2 water snakes to have a baby. Let's see what they will cook with this one. And by night, I built another production line to get better armor. The next day, the baby was ready to hatch, and it was Alphadrin. What a useless pal. Anyways, I finally crafted new armor and shield, and now I was ready to take on the world. I traveled to your brother's boy cave and found another chunky bird. He was only level 28, but since he was flying, it was hard to fight him. And oh, did I mention that he's electrically powered? But Feathers was much bigger and stronger, and he cooked that poor bird into a dinner roast. The same evening, I flew to the highest point of the tallest peak of the longest mountain to observe the world and make my next move. On day 84, I came across your magician auntie. She was so basic and forgettable that I didn't even knew she existed. And with Anubis by my side, it was a piece of cake in the park. Wait, that's how you say it, right? I traveled the entire night to go back to the land of snorting festival. Oh, I mean the land of freezing Iceland cold freeze balls. I quickly put on my anti-snorting powder armor before my balls freeze. I came across your cousins doing lines out in the open. I just wanted to talk, but they attacked me, so I captured them. Oh, never mind. They were too big. On day 85, I came across your mother again, Frozen edition. What a beauty she is. If you don't mind, of course. Me and Queen Bee decided to team up and captured your mother. This time, I'm gonna put your mother to work. Anyways, I was flying over the snorting powder's peak when I came across Miss Frozen Wings. She was as beautiful as ever, but with beauty comes crazy. Dude, she definitely snorted something before this battle because she was going bonkers. She was ice skating the entire battle, and it was hard for Anubis to keep up. So I called for the fire pal to deal with this cocaine snorting infestation. Ruby was doing good, but we had to chase her the entire battle. And oh god, I just realized she's a level 50 boss, so I just left her alone and ran away. In life, there are some battles that you don't need to fight, but that doesn't mean you should give up. So I built the base right next to her territory, and my ass was solid as ice, so I built a campfire to melt the ice off my pants. The next day, I put your lazy mother to work, and she was finally doing something for once in her life. A big bed for a big girl. I mean, most of the pals in my pocket were huge. They won't fit in these regular beds. In order to survive in this cold environment and not snort the white powder, I had to build the base using stones. I crafted this giant fire heater to keep everyone from freezing their balls. I also put the wheat and berry plantation to grow them food, and I also gave them a lot of milk. Now, why do I have so much milk? I hear you cry. Well, your sister Mozirina is very good with milking milk. I needed fire pals to keep the heater going, but also electric pals to turn on the heater in the first place. By night, everyone had warm and comfy beds, food, heater, and everything. The next day, everyone was hard at work to make the Antarctic base a true factory. I came back down to fight Miss Frozen Wings again, but during the battle, she glitched and disappeared. And after a moment, I got the news that I won the battle. What just happened? She's crazy. And back in my old base, I mean a factory, the walking goat and this innocent dragon had a baby, and it was the frozen Batman bird. Oh good, he was providing coolness in the summer heat to keep everyone refreshed. refreshed. And back in the Antarctic powdered land, I found your mother's frozen skeletons. Rest in peace. On day 87, I came across your Grampy Pops again. He changed his looks and everything, and now he was taking refuge in this frozen cave. I nearly didn't recognize him. He was even stronger than before. I called Phalaris to deal with him. They were both formidable opponents, fire versus water. One was getting burned and the other one was getting drowned. But I ended the battle quickly before it gets out of hand. Oh look, it's your mother again. Say hi. The next day, I came back to check on my gal, the frozen wing. No wait, I'll call her Stallion from now on. She was still mad because I won the battle on technicality, so I just left her alone for now. I was riding through your dad's patchy beard when I came across your other cousin bathing in the ocean. I threw a water ball at her and she got mad and now she wanted to kill me. So I had no choice but to capture her, you know. The same night, I came across the autistic child in the family and captured him. For the last battle, I came across the emo girl in the family. She was only level 38, but she was extremely smart. Even my fire pal was struggling against her. And during the battle, she was throwing jabs at me for no reason. So I had enough and captured her. On day 89, I finally came across one of the 5 legendary pal trainers in the Syndicate Tower of Front-Bound Mountains, Lily the Flower Girl. We were in this underground battle arena and I didn't know what to expect. Oh jeez, I only had 10 minutes and her life bar was over 69,000. I called Anubis and he kicked her right in the back and she got mad and went ham. I thought Blaze Howl was the way. He burned her, but she was coming at me for no reason. Man, her tornadoes and water ball trackers were really annoying and she nearly poisoned me. My pal threw the biggest fireball at her, but she wasn't even phased. And she pierced me with her branches. I called Phalaris to match her energy and he sent fire tornadoes back at her. She had close and long distance attacks and the only way I could win this battle was to avoid her attacks, but you know how that goes, right? And before I could even capture her, Fangloop ended the battle with his ice arrow piercing her heart. Rest in peace. On day 90, I confronted Detective Ice Hat about her keep tracking me for some reason, but she wasn't just gonna talk, was she? Which was expected and I came prepared, so Phalaris burned her ass. The only attack she had was these purple flames and we were able to capture her in no time. The next day, I came across this ancient ice cat. I thought she was cute and all, but Jesus Christ, she's extremely dangerous. What that mouth do? Well, big purple flames. Jesus Christ, I just let her go. I also came across your ice auntie. She was an elegant lady and I sure wanted to know more about her. So we set a date later in the day. I came back to check on my beautiful Stallion, but she was still mad. Jeez man, what did I do? What she is so mad for? On day 91, I came across Lily's frozen sister, Don't Let It Go, or Ice Lily. She was minding her own business when I rudely interrupted her and now she was mad. And my pal wasn't helping either. She was a level 49 boss but not as strong as her green sister. Never mind, she just threw the biggest black hole ball at me and she could breathe ice. Good thing I wasn't standing in front of that. She tried to come at me for no reason, but Phalaris burned her ass. And then she got stuck in the corner, so I had to capture her, you know. Now it was time to travel to the land of crusty desert of your mother's ashes to challenge the Ashy Pals. So on day 92, I came across the chunky scorpion of the desert. That thing was menacing but pretty useless. I tried to make things fair by calling Anubis to join the battle, but it got even worse. Anubis was throwing him left and right. Jeez, I couldn't let this humiliation ritual go any longer, so I just captured him. The next day, I came across the Suzuki flying plastic dragon. He was one weird looking creature. It was the battle of hot versus hot, fire versus fire, wings versus wings. He was very sharp, but the whole battle he was only attacking me. So I called my ground pal and he threw the biggest fireball at him without hesitation. I even called Lily and Fangloop to sway the odds, but since he was flying, it was hard to attack him. But soon Phalaris was able to put him down and I captured him. And who the f is this little shit? The ashy version of Captain Grass? Man, get your ass out of here. The same night, I came across the desert castle of the Old. I didn't expect to get in, but they welcomed me with open arms. It was a beautiful place, and after a long night of rest, on day 94, I came across the ashy version of Cucumber Flower. Damn, she was a level 47 boss. Now that's a glow up I can get behind. Oh geez, what in the holy fire breath is that? She was looking at Phalaris but shooting electric balls at me. She had a mix of fire and electric powers. She was good, but me and Phalaris are on another level, and soon we captured her. The next day, it was time to finally meet the Dark and Holy Knight of Legends. If I could get these pals on my side, I would win any battle. As expected, they were extremely strong and polar opposite. I wanted to keep them separate during the battle, but they knew what's up. I sent Phalaris to keep one of them distracted while I shoot the other one, but it didn't work because the Dark one had these purple flames and extremely aggressive, while the Holy one had water and electric powers, but he was calm. I called Germantide to deal with them and he nearly drowned the black one, but the Holy Knight had these electric water arrows that was really dangerous. It was time to call Phalaris again and he did some damage, but it was still a long way to go. Damn, he really got me there. Nothing was working, so I decided to go with brute force. My shotgun and Anubis' kicks were the only thing that were piercing through their armors. That synchronized attack was mesmerizing. Good thing I wasn't on the other side of it. I was finally able to separate the Dark one by dodging his attacks, and I called different pals from different angles to attack him. It was hard to keep him still, but me and Lily were finally able to put the Dark one down. Oh shit, I forgot to capture him. As for the Holy Knight, me and the Water Snake decided to dip him in the water and electrocute his ass. It took endless tries, but I was finally able to capture him. On day 96, after conquering the desert land, I traveled to the Obsidian Mount to finally face Jetrion and see if I can capture him. I flew over the mountains and reached the lava lake. I also found your mother's bones chilling on the ground. I came across the Blazimet in the cave, but he had no chance against the Holy Knight and the battle ended very quickly. I traveled further down the Obsidian Mount and I came across Astagen. It was a flying Chungus dragon with armor. Very intimidating but extremely weak because the Holy Knight had over 9,000 life bar and we sent them to the moon. Before fighting Jetrion, I decided to face Stallion one last time. She really wanted to fight me for some reason. I won't go through the battle again, but let's just say I was disappointed because I couldn't capture her. On day 97, I came back to the Obsidian Mount and finally challenged Jetrion. I don't know what I was expecting, but he sure wasn't as big of a challenge as those knights. He was extremely fast and agile and his aim was very good. I got hit every single time. He was a purple flaming mechanical dragon with 10 different attacks. It was hard to stay still and shoot him because I was keep dodging his attacks. He blasted Anubis with one firebolt. Okay, he is really strong. I had no choice but to call the Holy Knight. They were closely matched, but Jetrion was stronger and the Holy Knight had more life bar. Jetrion was able to fight us both at the same time, unlike most other boss fights, and these fire attacks were really bad. But still, it took less time to defeat Jetrion. I was expecting to capture him, but no matter what I did, he wouldn't get inside the Pokeball. What an interesting battle. I didn't think it would get any worse, but oh boy. The next day, I came across the Obsidian Syndicate Tower to face off against Axel and Arsec. He was almost twice as strong as Lily, and that pal could aim and shoot electric bullets. Not only that, it could also turn the air into electricity and burn everyone. He even had the same attacks as Jetrion. I knew Phalaris was in trouble, but goddamn, this electric bullet shots, whatever, I nearly died. And for a second, the screen changed to different colors because of all the attacks. So I had to call the Holy Knight, and he dismantled him quickly and shot him down with his electric attacks. My assault rifle was working too. I don't know how, but I was able to knock him out with my Pokeball. On day 99, I traveled to the Desert Syndicate Tower to meet with the leader of Desert Army, Mr. Marquez. And what in the holy Phalaris, he had the same pal as me. This should be interesting. He was almost as strong as Axel and Arsec, but there was something different with this Phalaris. He could also do electric attacks. What the? How come my bird doesn't do that? The Holy Knight did a good job of keeping him occupied while I did my attacks from behind. I just had to stay away from this big flashy electric monstrosity. Damn, the Knight ain't playing around. I don't know if it's cause he's a bird, but our attacks were doing more damage on him compared to Axel's. But it's also cause I knew how Phalaris would react in a battlefield. Finally, I shot the big bird down. See, it wasn't too bad, or at least that's what I thought. On day 100, I traveled to the final Syndicate Tower in the iceberg Mount of Snorting White Powder to face off against the final boss of Palworld, Victor and his pal Shadowbeak. I knew he was strong, but I didn't know he was this strong. His pal had over 200k life bar. Why the heck is he this enormously powerful? Shadowbeak had the powers of all the other bosses combined. I knew life ain't fair, but this is just hell. He was the first one to dodge Holy Knight's ice arrow attack by flying up, and he could breathe different kinds of flames. I thought Falorus might stand a chance, but he got cooked. 7 minutes in with almost full life bar? I thought this wouldn't be possible. I nearly got caught in the crossfire, but I hope the knight is okay. With each stage, his attacks would change to a whole new one. For a second, even the Holy Knight was struggling to stay alive. 4 minutes in with almost 90k life bar? This is impossible. But my drive, persistence, tactics, attacks, patience, and blood, sweat, and tears, everything to get this guy to give up. These electric exploding balls nearly took out the Holy Knight, so I called him back to regenerate. I can't believe I had to rely on the stupid water snake to help me defeat him. But Germantide was surprisingly effective. With almost 50 seconds left, Germantide the water snake electrocuted him to death. What an intense battle this was. Afterwards, I jumped on Falorus and flew over Palworld, reminiscing about when I was first washed up on this island. I couldn't even keep myself alive for the first few days, and now I have defeated the strongest pal in Palworld. I also built 2 of the biggest factories to enslave all the pals. I have finally earned the title of ruling over this world as a king, the Pal King.